You're switching to standby?
I don't get how my phone is down 40% since
An iPhone?
it's an
Yeah. I started having a permanent slot in the contract.
Yeah, because you
And I have an
have
extra
to.
battery.
And this is like, I got this in August. It's not like it's an old, like it's insane.
I know, it's insane. She's not gonna walk around with
At
all
58%. I won't put 7, 15. I've been on it, mind you, ever since. But I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't.
Try to keep a full charge or even a decent charge. That's probably a
Season one,
disaster, right? You have like a portable thing. Plugged in, then I got wires everywhere. It's stupid.
Erin, is Carolyn back there somewhere? Did she say how long the delay will be? I asked her.
She just
She didn't say. Yeah, she didn't say.
took her phone call and ran.
Yeah, she just
Blames
phone
me.
ran and no one's in sight in terms of the deputy chiefs.
It's,
You didn't come back to me yet.
Yeah. If I have a timeline, I'll let you know. She wouldn't say anything. I asked. And then I checked with my colleagues here to see if she said anything. She didn't. She didn't. Someone I. Okay.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, Stacey came to me. I told her I'm on.
Sorry, Steve, I just saw your
How long
note.
it can be delayed.
I just said delay too, but whatever. Now I see you're the one updating. Stay out of it.
Erin, should I be? Yeah, I guess. Let's stay out. Hold on. Let me take my glasses off here. Hold on. Give me a second. Just fix my. I'm gonna duck down.
is this the culture? Social media. So what's happening?
Sorry? I can't hear you. Okay, here we go. Carolyn, do you know how long the delay?
Not yet. I don't know yet. We'll give you 2 minutes at least.
Okay.
Okay, so just an update, folks.
Oh,
We're going to start in just a few minutes. We just wanted to let you know we had originally told you that the principal was going to be here. The principal is not going to be here. The school has received a bomb threat. Principals had to turn around and go back to the school and obviously deal with that circumstance. Officers are on scene responding. So that will be taken care of. That's all the information we have right now. We're going to move forward with the news conference in just a few minutes, give you 2 minutes to send that information back to your newsrooms, and then we'll get started with our regularly scheduled programming. Okay?
okay.
Everybody's good?
I have phone call.
Yes.
You should probably tweet that out. I can't.
The principal just wanted an opportunity to speak to the media in a place that wasn't at the school. As you know, there have been some concerns about media presence at the school, so in an effort to facilitate that, we were going to lend him the gallery that's on its own, separate from our update.
Because there was a bomb threat. Megan, can you tell us anything else about the bomb threat?
No.
Are police investigating?
Police are on scene.
Police are on scene at St. Michael's College School right now because of a bomb threat. Was it called into the school? Do you know? Okay, so if you're going to be throwing out questions, the media was just advised her what a delay into the start of the news conference and the fact that the principal of the school will not be here because he has had to return to the school to deal with this. And we know that there was a threat made to the school last week as well. We know that students were initially advised not to wear their uniforms outside of the school on Sunday because they were harassed. So this is the latest. Toronto police are investigating, and according to Megan Wade, the Director of Communications, so Stephanie, you've been told this news conference will start in a few minutes' time, and we'll ask all of the questions then and get more details. And I know we're going to be looking more to this bomb threat as Toronto police investigate. Back to you.
Okay. That's why I'm thanks.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thanks.
Tracy, who's the dad? Tracy, you've been looped into the group. Yes.
Let everyone, I already updated Zero. Zero last one. Jen, are you coming? Yeah, I gotta switch back. Only back one. Wait. You can put this one on the pass. It'll last a while.
And it's like you're eating
I know, I like that. Oh, it's a thing.
That's why
Like this, I'm just saying, these all the
Oh, that's so nice. I know. Yep.
I did four other customers.
Oh, did she say it was called in when I asked?
No, she said she wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right, sorry.
It's insane. You can take it now, it's fine. I got fresh butter.
Of course, yeah, so I was just thinking that.
Yeah. All my batteries went, but
A lot of what they have to say, but about this, so,
gives the
Yeah.
errors like when they first thing.
yeah.
They're not smooth, they won't go with this. Let me try it. But I'm trying to get my phone.
Oh, now you're back.
Yeah. I was like, well, if I have this battery to charge, I'll get it. Yeah, so.
I'm bad at that.
Okay, Tracy, hold on, just so we don't double up. I'm just sending something out. I'm just sending notes to you.
Oh, really?
Except on planes. I read on planes and, you know.
Tracy, I just
so-
put the larger group on that, about what Megan said, just so we don't double up.
Instructions.
I asked, okay.
And I'm in that group because
So you're probably right.
They need headphones or power bank. I knew it was going to be something there. You know, I need to just go sit.
Hi, I'm on IFB.
What was the issue?
That's what she says. But, yeah, I think so, especially now the ball's right, I can talk for a long time. Sorry, Stacey, I don't need to be like, I'm on IFB. Bye.
I know, wasn't the email starting to
Know that. Can only be told to a certain limited crowd, but it's funny.
Yeah, it was over the top.
Yeah, no, a few minutes is what she said. If you want to come back to me, I could talk more about what we know. I'm right here, yeah. I'm right below it.
It's just trying to say, she goes with that issue. It's not an issue.
Guys, on last week it was a bomb threat as well. Do you know anything about that threat? Oh, starting? You're good? 2-minute warning.
Today's news conference will begin in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was the wording specifically from Toronto Police. They say there was a bomb threat at the school. Police are investigating. They couldn't say if it was called in or not, but what we can tell you is that the principal of the school, Greg Reeves, who had spoken out to us yesterday, is not going to be here. He initially was scheduled to, but he's had to return to the school to deal with these matters. So we're just waiting right now. You're going to hear me tone down for just a moment as this begins, and we'll throw the line. Deputy Chief James Ramos is going to speak, as well as Dominic Sinopoli. Yeah, go ahead. Carol, it's a good one.
One minute. Thanks for your patience, everybody. We will begin in 1 minute.
Okay, I'm going to jump back in here. I thought I was getting the cue that this is going to begin. So we have Deputy Chief James Ramos here. We have Amanda Beckford of the Senate Frontier, Dominic Sinopoli as well. We're going to speak one after first after each other. And then we're going to have the Deputy Chief and then the Spectrum. After that, they will take questions. And we will have questions that we just learned minutes ago. Again, this is Tom Bradley for us. We can just make sure we want to come in last week regarding a specific threat.
30 seconds?
30 seconds, and we're going to carry this for you guys and we'll get some answers to some of the questions. So we've been waiting to ask. What we can tell you though is that a number of students have been charged, estimated approximately 6 students charged.
15?
In addition to this investigation.
10? 5? Good morning, and thank you for attending Police Headquarters. My name is Constable Carolyn DeClue, and I'm here today to introduce Deputy Chief James Raymer, who will be updating you on the investigation into allegations of assault and sexual assault at St. Mike's College School.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming today. Before I turn the podium over to Inspector Sinopoli, who oversees our sex crimes unit and will provide you a more thorough investigative update, I just wanted to make a few comments. The primary focus of our investigation has been and continues to be in the best interest of the victims and the criminal allegations that have surfaced. This morning, 5 individuals turned themselves into police, and 1 individual was arrested on his way to school. All are young offenders. I want to take this opportunity to thank those who have come forward and have spoken to investigators. And I want to thank the officers and investigators who have stayed focused on the evidence and have acted, again, in the best interest of the victim. Particularly, I want to mention the members of the Child and Youth Advocacy Center. They have been the lead investigators in all of these occurrences with the support of our partner agencies at the CYAC, and have moved this investigation to where we are today. This is going to be a complex investigation. We will continue to follow the evidence and lay additional charges if they are appropriate. And I'll now turn it over to Inspector Sinopoli.
Thank you, Deputy. I want to take this opportunity to provide an overview of the case in an effort to clarify any confusion. On Monday, November 12, 2018, 13th Division received a call from the principal of St. Mike's College. He was seeking advice about a hazing incident that he had learned about. He was advised on how the student can engage our services, and no further action was taken or received after that. On Wednesday, November 14th, Toronto Police Corporate Communications received information from the media that there were a number of expulsions taking place at St. Mike's College, believed to be in relation to an unrelated occurrence investigated by 13th Division. As a result, a 13th Division officer was dispatched to St. Mike's College. Prior to arriving, Toronto Police Corporate Communications received further information from the media indicating that the expulsions were believed to be in relation to a sexual assault involving an object. When the officer arrived, and after speaking to the principal, he confirmed that the expulsions were not in response to the unrelated occurrence, but were in response to a video that showed or depicted a sexual assault. He also shared information in relation to another incident. This incident and the one originally discussed on Monday are being investigated as assaults. On Thursday, November 15, 2018, the principal learned of another sexual assault incident that had occurred prior to the ones already being investigated. He immediately notified police, and a 4th occurrence was generated. The 6 boys arrested today have each been charged with assault, gang sexual assault, and sexual assault with a weapon. All of these charges are in relation to the sexual assault learned about on Wednesday in relation to the video. All of the young persons are being held pending a show cause hearing and are scheduled to appear at 311 Jarvis today. The investigation with respect to the incident first learned about on Monday, November 12th, and the second sexual assault incident are now under investigation, and this work continues. We have not determined whether any of these allegations are related to one another. More than 50 witnesses have been identified, and more information comes to us daily. We also know there are several videos being circulated. We are in possession of these videos. We have reason to believe that there may be more videos and more incidents. We are very concerned about the distribution of the videos on social media. The unintended consequences are far-reaching and detrimental to the recovery of the victim. I cannot stress to you the importance of ensuring that these videos are immediately deleted from all phones or devices in your possession. Failure to do so and/or the continued distribution or publishing of these videos will be treated very seriously. Let me make it perfectly clear that this caution applies to all persons and/or organizations in possession of the said video. We have also received unconfirmed reports that boys from the school are being targeted both on social media and in public. We want to reiterate that we are monitoring social media and will act on any reports of reprisal, retaliation, violence, or threats of violence. We know this has been a very strenuous time for the students, faculty, families of the St. Mike's students, aggravated by unprecedented media interest. We know tensions have been high. Now, while no criminal behavior has been reported, we would like to encourage everyone, including parents and media, to pause and remember we are dealing with children, most of whom have had no involvement with the crimes that are being investigated. I also want to take a moment to address the concerns raised about the delay in reporting the sexual assault. The Child, Youth and Family Services Act puts a duty on all individuals, and in particular, professionals working with children, to report to a society instances where a child may be in need of protection. I appreciate that this is of concern to the parents of the students of St. Mike's College and the community at large. And I can assure you that we are working in cooperation with the principal and his staff. However, at this time, we are not prepared to comment on this aspect of the investigation at this time until a thorough investigation is concluded. I can take any questions you may have.
Can you just clarify how many victims?
Just in your opinion, do you feel that this video, the initial sexual assault video, should have been reported on that Monday evening?
Yes.
Inspector, can you clarify, you said victim, how many victims though, potentially, are there other victims, and how is this specific victim doing?
My understanding is that the specific victim is doing okay. He has gotten the support he needs and deserves. As far as other victims, we are investigating a minimum of 4.
Have you interviewed any of the youths that have been charged yet?
I can't comment on that.
So
You say there's
charges
more
have been
victims than
receiving
those
threats.
4?
The school had a bomb threat this morning that was just confirmed to us. And we know they had a threat earlier on in the week. How many threats have been made against the school or its students credibly enough to warrant police attention or police response?
Today would mark the 2nd threat.
Can you say you're
Inspector, are you
investigating 4
taking a look
victims?
at-
Are those 4 victims of sexual assault or 4 victims just generally?
2 of assault and 2 of sexual assault.
And
So
how
the
many
second
incidents do you
sexual
think there
assault
is?
video, you're saying no charges have been laid yet in relation to that one, or it's?
The only charges that were laid today are in relation to the one video for the sexual assault.
So
The
what,
sexual assault video, the second one, did that also include a weapon?
I can't comment on that.
I've heard it was, okay.
Inspector, how far back are police looking in terms of past incidents? You mentioned the most recent incident, the 4th incident, preceded the incidents that police became aware of last week.
In our instruction to the parents, we placed no timelines on any allegations of hazing that crossed into the criminal realm. So whether it was this week, last week, or last year, if it crosses into the criminal realm, then we are interested in speaking to those students.
Do you anticipate any charges for any adults or professionals that work at the school or were involved or are involved in the school community?
I can't comment.
Is the principal and administration part of this investigation too? The principal and administration of the school, are they part of this investigation, and could charges come when it comes to not reporting the sexual assaults immediately?
That is going to form part of the investigation, but as to whether or not charges will follow suit, I can't say. It's far too early in the investigation to get into that. And it's not the focus of our investigation.
In the
How many
remaining-
incidents
Sorry,
did
I
you
didn't
have
know.
as to when things were reported and when the school found out?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part.
We know the timeline as to when the school found out about certain incidents, but when do you think that these incidents actually happened? You had mentioned one of them happened before the other two.
The information that we have to date is that those incidents occurred this year.
So you can't say specifically if they're recent?
This school year.
Are you getting, are people coming forward to you in relation to things that have happened in the past?
I'd really rather not comment on that. I want to give an opportunity to all students, all the boys at St. Mike's that feel they've either been victimized and or have witnessed an incident to come forward.
Inspector, can you say this?
I'm sorry. That's nice of you, thanks. Can you give me, I'm obtuse, so I'm not understanding the 4 remaining incidents. 2 of them are being investigated as assaults, 2 of them as sexual assaults.
Yes, however, the one sexual assault, we've already laid charges for
Okay.
in relation to.
So you're counting
today.
that in the 4?
Yes, so
Yeah.
realistically, we have 2 sexual assaults, allegations of 2 sexual assaults, 2 assaults, and one of those sexual assaults, charges were laid in relation to that one today.
And
Do you
what
think it's the
same
same
victim?
individuals who were involved in both sexual assaults?
I can't say.
And sorry, the same victim in all 4 instances, just to clarify?
No.
Just so the charges today are, we're talking about 1 victim.
Correct.
How about the other 3 cases? I mean, how many victims are we looking at?
Well, 1 in each for sure.
So
Minimum of 3
So we're looking
victims.
at potentially, including today's, the victim involved in the charges laid today, 4 separate victims? Potentially?
Including today's, yes.
Are these athletes who are the victims athletes, or are they involved in sports?
I
Are they part of
can't,
teams?
I can't get into that,
Are
I'm sorry.
police investigating a possible fight club that is operating out of St. Mike's? We heard that one of the assault videos depicted a fight club that involved 2 students in the hallway with a group of over 24 students in a ring cheering on the 2 students put in the center of this ring, and the video was being narrated.
This is the first I've heard about a fight club type incident.
So police are investigating a potential fight club operating.
I don't know that we're not. I'm not privy to all the information that's been received, but this is the first I've heard about that.
Inspector, can you give us an idea of the ages of the young offenders involved?
No, I cannot.
Have any instructions been given from the school to preserve any communication around their response in terms of maybe emails, records from athletes around the decision not to report right away?
Well, we've had conversations with the school with respect to this investigation. The school, the administrators have been cooperating with investigators and have been, or not all of them, but some of them have been interviewed.
Can you clarify why there were no child pornography charges when we look at the dissemination of these videos?
Well, the fact that there was no child pornography charges today doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be child pornography charges. But as it stands today, we are comfortable with the charges that we've laid. It gets these 6 young men before the courts and protects the interest of the victim.
So potentially you could be looking at dozens of students who shared a video that shows a child being allegedly sexually assaulted.
I couldn't comment on how many students received and or further published that video. I don't know at this stage.
Are you concerned it's still out there on social media?
Yes, in fact, I'm very concerned about that. The fact that this video and other videos are on social media is something that has serious consequences for victims.
Inspector, if you only have 4 videos this time, sorry back here, why do you believe there are more?
During the course of our investigation, we have reason to believe that there's more incidents and potentially more videos.
Have you seen or heard of more online? Is that what's leading you to believe that, or what's leading you to believe that?
I can't get into what's leading me to believe that, but I do believe that there's more videos and or more incidents.
Do you know up to how many?
No, I don't.
Inspector, I
How
have
old
a
are
question
the,
for you. On, you mentioned that on Monday was the first call, and for the first time we've heard that that was related to a hazing incident. And I understand that nothing happened, the police didn't respond. Was it minor in nature? Can you elaborate on that? What that would have been?
Well, the phone call was advice-driven. It involved a hazing incident, which did cross into the assault realm.
It didn't.
It did. It did. At that point in time, the principal was given advice as to how the student can engage our services. We did not hear from that student, and we only continued with the investigation on Wednesday when we were led to the school by media reports of the expulsions.
Was that part of anything to come? Obviously, it wasn't the one, it was the catalyst, but you mentioned 3 others.
So when we went there on Wednesday and learned of the sexual assault video, we also received information about the video, or not the video, but the incident with regards to the Monday call. So we're looking at 2 assaults and 2 sexual assaults.
So the first one is now being investigated. Just one more
Correct.
thing. You mentioned that the phone call part, the care of duty part that we've talked about is not the focus of your investigation. Does that mean that it's not the focus, of the police or of your unit?
No, I didn't say, or at least I didn't mean to say that it's not the focus of our investigation. What I'm trying to say is that the focus of our investigation right now is in criminal offenses, in criminal allegations, and that continues to be the focus of our investigation. The byproduct of that investigation may delve into the issue of reporting or non-reporting, but that is not something that we're turning our mind to right now, actively turning our mind to right now.
Inspector, why didn't police investigate this incident that was in the realm of assault, that the principal was seeking?
We are investigating.
But initially, and so you're saying the principal was seeking advice for the victim or advice on how to proceed?
I'm not quite sure what the original advice was for, but needless to say, we did not receive any reports of an assault from the complainant.
Can I just take you back to Monday? So the Monday when you first got word of, or the principal did call you about, I guess, a hazing incident. Just take me through what happened with that. So the principal called police and said, I have a video of hazing, what do I do? Why was nothing further done when that first initial call was made? Or just what happened there?
Well, the principal called 13 Division to inquire about this particular incident, and he was given advice that if the student wishes to proceed and engage our services, then the student is to be made aware as to how to contact us. Up until Wednesday, we had not received any information from that student, so there was never really a complaint.
Was it downplayed somewhat in the, I mean, to call these things a hazing incident is inherently downplaying it? The two assaults that you're looking at.
No, I don't mean to do that, and if I'm coming across that way...
No, I mean the call from the principal. Was he perhaps accidentally?
No, I don't believe so. I think the principal was legitimately looking for some direction as to how he and/or the complainant should proceed.
One more thing. The 5 young men you said turned themselves in. Were they accompanied by their parents or lawyers? That's not an invasion of their privacy.
No, I'm just trying to think. I'm not 100% sure whether it was one or both, but I know some were with lawyers, but I don't know if all were with lawyers.
If a principal calls in the first assault on Monday, why would that not be considered a complaint on its own about the hazing instead of seeking advice?
So, all of these instances appear to be hazing initiated, but once they cross into a criminal arena, that's when we become involved. But we still need a complainant. Someone needs to call us and say, look, I was assaulted.
Isn't that the principal's responsibility as a guardian of these kids when they're in school?
Yeah, why wouldn't the phone call placed by the principal be considered a complaint on its own?
Well, it's not. The phone call was advice-driven. It was a principal looking for direction on how he and/or the student could proceed.
But isn't it incumbent on police to act? I mean, when you became aware of the video on Wednesday, police, I mean, was there a complaint from a student that resulted in action?
So when the principal says...
Hang on, let me just finish this. Can you just repeat that? Sorry.
I guess what many people are wondering, are police not required to act in some way when there is at least, suggestion by the principal, even if it was advice-driven, that a student may be in harm's way?
Well,
And there's no
I
complaint.
think we're putting words into the principal's mouth here. I don't know what was the exact communication between him and the staff sergeant who spoke to him, but suffice to say that the staff sergeant's advice to the principal was if this individual feels that he was assaulted, then he's to contact us.
So police did not report even the first incident of the so-called baptism, so that was an official police report.
It was not until Wednesday
Were there
when we heard
complaints
more
about the
information.
You mentioned that
More
a student
questions,
this
please.
morning was arrested on their way to school, and we understand that the school had made some expulsions and some suspensions in relation to the incidents last week. This last student evidently was not among those expelled if they were on their way to school this morning. Out of the students who were arrested, how many of them were still attending the school at the time that or were arrested?
I don't have that answer for you. I
Okay.
don't know.
And one follow-up question here. Has your investigation been complicated by mechanisms like Snapchat where a video can be shared and then deleted?
What do you mean by complicated?
Has it made it more difficult to investigate the sharing of the video when it's something where the video can be shared and then 30 seconds later be essentially gone?
Well, I think, yes, I mean, realistically, any investigation would be hampered by social media. It's very difficult. I mean, although there's a digital footprint, it's at times difficult to follow that digital footprint.
Inspector, just to clarify on that question, you can't say out of the 8 students expelled and 1 suspended, are those 6 that were charged today included in that group? Just to clarify, can you?
The reason why I can't say is because I don't know. I simply don't know. I know for certain that one of those kids was not one of the expelled kids because he was en route to school. But as to the other 5, as to whether or not they were of the 8 expulsions, I don't know.
Sir, how unique is something like this? Have you ever seen
Sorry, those are
anything
all
like this in the private deputy still there?
No, deputy has to leave.
Okay, well, I've got questions.
That concludes today's conference. Thank you for attending.
Yes, no questions.